This is how we should remember it, the importance of it, and through practice we can do it. Whoever is the person who does not want that he should lead a life free from fear. He should lead a life free from anxiety. He should lead a life free from tension. He should lead a life free from all dissipations and all kinds of hopelessnesses in life. Nobody wants to do such a life, to lead such a life. Everybody wants to develop the positive characters, the positive ideas, the positive principles in his life. He wants to make the life a positive and a very, very forceful factor to decide the good and virtuous. Therefore, for all those who have this desire, they have to practice the exercise of anupreksha and bhavana, make a total change within, and then the change will occur automatically in their action. He will then become a personality with all the positive traits, a fearless personality, a person free from anger, a person full of forgiveness, a person full of modesty and humility, a person full of simplicity and straightforwardness, a person full of contentedness and free from greediness, a person free from selfishness, and a person exercising altruism in his life. So friends, you have to understand the importance and significance of anupreksha and bhavana in this way. As is very clear, this exercise has the benefit of using as a psychotherapeutic practice. You know, all our psychosomatic diseases, the psychological distortions and the misunderstood ideas, they are all the causes of our sickness, our illnesses. How to cure them? The medicine taken externally, they are helpless in removing all this. So we have to exercise psychotherapy. The best psychotherapy is the practice of anupreksha and bhavana. Anupreksha and bhavana are necessary for practicing a life in which you can become free from illnesses and weaknesses, from this all our psychological distortion. So this exercise can be utilized as a very, very strong psychotherapeutic exercise and medicine, which is very useful in practical life. The second thing is, as I told you earlier, to attain samadhi, that is to become free from vyadhi, adhi and upadhi. Vyadhi, adhi and upadhi. Vyadhi, adhi and upadhi, that means the physical disease or disorder, the mental disease or disorder, and the emotional disease or disorder. Vyadhi, adi and upadhi are the three impediments in our total health, in our attainment of samadhi, complete blissfulness, complete tranquility, complete peace. If we want to attain samadhi, what is required is to completely become free from adi, vyadhi and upadhi. This exercise of therapeutic thinking and contemplation is a very strong media to attain samadhi. A person practicing this exercise continuously and regularly in his life will certainly 70% he will lead a life free from adi, vyadhi and upadhi, the life of samadhi, which is the summum bonum of our spiritualistic philosophy. So now I have well explained the importance and significance of this exercise. Now let us discuss the actual technique, how you have to practice it. For the practice of this anupreksha, what is required is, anupreksha is actually anupreksha, but it should be practiced both times. That is, before you practice preksha and after practicing preksha, again you have to practice anupreksha. It should precede the practice of preksha and it should also succeed the practice of preksha. The preceding anupreksha is to prepare your mind for accepting the truth or for bringing about the positive change in your own self. So that idea, that thing, that is practiced first by anupreksha, then you practice preksha, then after preksha again you practice anupreksha, so that whatever is attained through preksha is now fastened, it is made more strong with the help of anupreksha. In this way, anupreksha before preksha and anupreksha after preksha. That is the way to practice anupreksha. Now, in order to make anupreksha a 100% successful technique, what you have to do? Of course, first of all, kayotsar is the first condition. Every time, whenever you practice preksha or whenever you practice anupreksha, you have to practice kayotsar. Complete relaxation of the body together with self-awareness. That is what we do in kayotsar. In kayotsar, when you go deep into kayotsar, automatically the alpha rhythm will be created in your brain. The brain will reflect the alpha rhythm, the frequency which is between 7 and 14 hertz, and that shows that now your brain, even your conscious brain, has become receptive for the auto-suggestion which are going to give in your anupreksha and bhavana. So this is the first condition, precondition, total relaxation with self-awareness, that is preparing the brain for alpha rhythm and establishing it well in this rhythm. The second thing is the motivation and the sankalp. A strong resolve you have to make for changing, for imbibing the real truth. You have to make a strong resolve, strong determination. A very strong will you have to create in your own self. You have to create deep faith in that fact, in that truth, in that real principle of life. Very necessary to motivate yourself, to give you an extra strength that I will change myself. This is the very necessary second condition, motivation and strong resolve. The third thing is auto-suggestion. Now we utilize auto-suggestion, of course, in concentrated state of mind. The conscious mind is fully concentrated in this kind of thinking, therapeutic thinking. Here we don't close the process of thinking as we do in perceptive meditation. In perceptive meditation, we close thinking and do perception. Now here we utilize this faculty, this capacity of thinking in the right way we have got. We utilize this capacity, this power, and that is concentration, full concentration on this and utilizing auto-suggestion. We suggest to our own self. Actually, we suggest to our subconscious mind and unconscious mind to behave, to remain ever in the memory of this truth which we are going to teach it. So, this is the third very, very important step, establishing one's own concentration of mind together with the auto-suggestion. And in the last point, what we do is visualization. Whatever we have thought of, whatever goal we have made, now we try to visualize it as a real fact. Now we try to realize in the end that whatever we were suggesting to our own self has already been materialized. It has come to the truth. It has been translated into reality. That we can visualize ourselves, and in this way we make a very strong resolution to lead the life according to that principle or truth which we have practiced in Anupreksha. In actual technique, what we practice is, first of all, we practice the Mahapran Dhvani. Second, we practice Kayosar. Thirdly, we practice deep breathing and colorful breathing. Fourthly, we practice concentration on certain psychic center together with the color, psychic color. And fifthly, we again repeat the theme as the Anupreksha. For example, if you want to give up the fear, I go repeating first 9 times loudly, then 9 times and without speaking, silently, the same sentence again and again, that my fear is becoming weaker and weaker, my instinct of fear is fading away, and so on and so forth. And in the last, we do again the contemplation or the therapeutic thinking, repeat it and concentrate on a single theme and visualize it. So this is the way how we practice it. The word contemplation, it contains the idea of constant repetition. It is called bhavana. Bhavana is the repeated exercise, repeatedly recurring exercise. The same thing is to be imprinted 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, 1000 times. Repetition, 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 and that makes a sanskar. The imprint and instincts are changed. We bring about the change at the level of instinct, the wrong instinct, the instinct leading us to bondage. They are there because of the repeated sanskar, thousands and thousands of times we have done in the past. Now we do it exactly opposite to it. We try to imprint a positive sanskar, a positive idea, a positive instinct, and that can help us in changing our attitude, behavior and action. So friends, we have discussed at length how to practice contemplation, how to practice therapeutic thinking, Anupreksha Bhavana, and I think this is easier even than Preksha. Although you can't neglect Preksha, Preksha is something very profound. It can lead you to the deepest level of your consciousness when you become completely free from actions, reactions, likes and dislikes, thoughts and ideas. Completely free. You can't belittle the importance of Preksha, but at the same time you have to understand the importance and value of Anupreksha. So Preksha and Anupreksha together, the blending of both, the confluence of both together can change your life, can change your personality, and you can evolve certainly as a personality whom we can call a true human being, whom we can call a true religious person, whom we can call a true spiritual practitioner.